The podcast you are about to hear is not affiliated with or authorized by CoolGames Inc., Polygon, or Vox Media. It was made as a tribute to the CoolGames Inc. fan community. Now, enjoy the podcast or be incinerated.
Hi everybody, and welcome to CoolGames Inc. Vancouver. It's a brand spanking new game design podcast. I did a thing. I'm Ewan.
I'm Spanky. Spanky works. Just call me Spanky. I mean, at Spanky works on Twitter, but Spanky works. Just Spanky. Call me Spanky.
You see what I did? I brand spanking. You get it?
Yeah, because my nickname is Spanky. Okay, so we did a crowdfunding. Tell them about our crowdfunding venture, Ewan.
All right, so we came up with a brand new, completely original video game company idea, and it was CoolGames Inc. Vancouver. We're pretty sure nobody has ever. It's untapped waters. Nobody has done anything quite like this, and so we went to, of course, the only crowdfunding platform that could possibly support this kind of grand idea, and that is PunchBeginner, is it not?
Right. So I mean, like, some people talk about Kickstarter like it's cool or whatever, but like Kickstarter, it's so 2010, like Ouya. Look at the Ouya. They didn't even go anywhere. So we're like, okay, we don't want to be the Ouyas of podcasts. We want to be the game designers of the future. We're going to the new 2017, the new standard, PunchBeginner. Mm-hmm. So like unlike Kickstarter, which you don't get any money if you don't meet your goal, fuck that. Unlike Indiegogo, which you get money no matter how much you make, no, PunchBeginner, if you don't meet your goal, you owe PunchBeginner however much money you collected up to that point, and you have to pay it yourself. You can't use the donations. You don't get that money. So
of course that was very risky for us, but I think it worked out in the end, because now here we are in beautiful Vancouver in our skyrise building where CoolGames Inc. Vancouver headquarters is held. We're looking out this window at the beautiful Vancouver landscape.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
You want to describe it to me?
Yeah. So there's a moose. Canada has those. Because we're in Vancouver, which is in Canada.
Mm-hmm. Is this your first time in Vancouver?
No, I've lived here my whole life. So
okay.
I am not from rural southern Missouri.
No?
I am from Canada Town, and that's just right outside of Vancouver, Canada. In that province that Vancouver's in.
That is correct.
So, yeah, I'm from here. It looks like a normal Vancouver, Canada day outside from the window, but it's coated in like the glossy veneer of we just got a whole bunch of money from crowdfunding. Mm-hmm. So that's basically what the outside looks like today.
Mm-hmm. Do you see any snow out there?
Yeah, there's a lot of snow outside.
Yeah, a lot of snow in Vancouver. You ask anybody in Vancouver, they'll tell you it's just constantly snowing.
Snow everywhere.
24/7.
Basically all snow.
Mm-hmm.
So the problem with our I almost said
you almost said the wrong thing.
The bad crowdfunding. Our crowdfunding from PunchBeginner.info that was successful
.gov.
was .gov was okay. So it was successful, but we only kickstarted the game company, mm-hmm. and unlike most crowdfunding, we didn't actually have an idea. We basically just we want to start a game company, so we didn't have an idea. So we've got to go to the internet and otherwise for game ideas and then create those into masterpieces of video games as art.
Mm-hmm, because unfortunately we have 2 days to deliver the game. We've kind of been slacking. We were just like, oh, look at this. We've got one of those.
Well, we just bought a new office. How are you going to buy a new office? Skyrise, literally penthouse of the Vancouver Tower, which is obviously, mm-hmm. as everyone knows, the tallest building in Canada and the world also.
Mm-hmm. Twice as tall as the CN Tower.
Exactly. I've never even heard of that because I'm so up high. The people at the CN Tower are just talking. I can't even hear them. So I'm so high up in the Vancouver Tower. Penthouse So we threw a party, and that lasted for basically all of our budget.
Mm-hmm.
So we no longer have budget for brainstorming. So we're going to use the internet as basically our interns.
Mm-hmm. So apparently, I was just Googling CoolGames Inc. to see if there was like any. When I was checking if the name for our game company was all right, and I found this abandoned subreddit. It's very strange, but there appear to be game ideas on it. So maybe this could be our starting point.
Is it CoolGames Inc. Vancouver?
No, it's CoolGames Inc. That's when I decide. Yeah, we're fine.
Okay, so it's ambiguous.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, because we're more specific, we win that lawsuit.
Yeah.
So we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
We basically own everything they've ever done at this point.
Yeah, we're untouchable. All right.
Okay.
So here is our first idea. It was submitted by somebody named Great N. Thank you, Great N. It is no Donkey Kong Country for old men.
Okay. So I have a confession to make.
Yes.
Right off the bat, I've never seen No Country for Old Men.
Okay.
Which I can only assume is where the idea comes from, unless this person has been in the same bubble I've been in, or no, even a deeper bubble where they've never even heard of No Country for Old Men and just thought, hey, I like Donkey Kong Country and I don't like old men, so let's exclude them from Donkey Kong Country.
So what do you think No Country for Old Men is like? What is the premise of No Country for Old Men?
Okay, so No Country for Old Men, the only thing I know about it is that someone kills someone with a, like, some weird pistol thing, like an air pistol thing, and I only know that because maybe 5 seconds before this podcast started, I opened up the Wikipedia page for it, and that was basically the first line in the plot section.
Yeah.
I can't say for sure if that's what happened. There's no evidence of that. So, first of all, we have to decide, is this, like, a thoughtful recreation of the ideas behind No Country for Old Men applied to the fan favorite Donkey Kong franchise of products, or is it made by a company with no familiarity with No Country for Old Men, as I am unfamiliar, and only knows Donkey Kong is a monkey and No Country for Old Men is exclusionary toward old men?
Yeah, well, the person who submitted it, they did specify that the older you are, if you are male, the weaker Donkey Kong's physical abilities will be. Eventually, the game is unbeatable.
Okay, so
But
I'm thinking.
I just want to say, but you know, in Donkey Kong 64, the multiplayer gun battle mode.
Yes.
No Country for Old Men opens with the main character stumbling upon the remains of a gun battle where there were no survivors, and I am in love with the idea of Donkey Kong stumbling upon the scattered remains, the corpses of a bunch of Kremlins and Kongs. But I guess none of that's happening now. That's all gone down the toilet because the Great N hates old men.
Okay, so I have a better idea.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you said was good, I guess, but my stuff is better, so forget everything you just said.
Okay.
My idea, Cranky Kong is a canon character in Donkey Kong Country, and also canon is old. So I'm thinking it's kind of like a Star Wars Episode 7 situation, where Donkey Kong has beaten the King K. Rool, and basically it's all bananas and coconuts and fun time. But Cranky Kong is like, oh man, I like stuff back in the old days, because he's one of those old people who likes everything back in the old days. So he's upset that there's no imminent danger anymore. So he decides to create his own imminent danger. So basically he starts just absolutely wrecking a bunch of shit, just destroying it, being generally unpleasant, hiding remote controls for televisions, just doing heinous shit basically. And because of that, Donkey Kong, president and supreme ruler of Donkey Kong Island, which is now a sovereign country, has decided that, okay, Cranky Kong has to go. We are declaring No Country for Old Men, Cranky Kong. Cranky Kong, he got banished because he was causing so much damn trouble. So he's basically like banished, but it's told from his perspective. So it's kind of got this crazy like Kylo Ren thing going on where he's actually the good guy, and then like Kylo Ren is like Diddy Kong maybe, and then DK's Snoke. I don't know.
Okay. what I'm interested in is where Mario comes into this. Whose side is
Okay.
Mario on?
So, Cranky, canon, original DK, I will not hear any garbage about just being retconned as that he is the canon original DK. Threw barrels at Mario. However, Mario is also a benevolent human being. Everyone knows that Mario is a good guy. So, Mario is basically conflicted. Mario decides to become a news analyst for covering the events of the Great War of the Kongs, and decides to just completely stay neutral in all of it.
So maybe we have like a Pokemon situation where there are two games, because you've got no Donkey Kong Country for Old Men, but you also have Super Mario Journalism, which is going on. It's playing alongside old.
Exactly, and everyone wants to see the sensation. Everyone loves the trailers for the Mario Journalism video game. So we basically already have a mobile tie-in. This is going great so far.
They're saying it's the Pokemon Snap of 2017.
Right. So here's the thing: Mario Journalism is a true-to-life journalism simulation. You have to you literally have to answer to an editor, which is assigned to you in game. You have to work your way up the corporate ladder. You have to
wait. So is it an MMO?
You have to spend so it's like an MMO, but you have to spend the first 2 years basically writing about local sports.
Does MMO stand for Massively Mario or whatever the O stands for?
Online, Massively Mario Online,
Massively Mario
Journalism Simulation Video Game, MMOJSV, Majisiva. It rolls right off the tongue. Okay, so we've got our tie-in game for Mario. We've got the original game, No Donkey Kong Country for Old Men, which is we didn't even decide on a genre. I'm guessing probably MOBA.
Yeah, or maybe. Of course, Rabbids Kingdom, Mario, whatever. It was very successful. We could do an RTS type thing. Like an
XCOM strategy game. So, I guess we can do that. So we basically got this.
Maybe it has an RPG element where you have conversations with people like Telltale style, and the more people you convince, the more people you get on your side for the RTS segments.
Okay, so, And as we all know, with Telltale games, nothing you fucking do matters. Can we just talk about for a moment that nothing you fucking do matters in Telltale games? I'm sorry, this is an aside. I played every of the Walking Dead Telltale video games. I made I played it through multiple times. I wanted to get every ending, and basically there's like 3 choices in the whole damn video game that does anything. So I don't want to do that. I want when it says Donkey Kong will remember that, I want him to remember that. If we're sitting at the table and there's like one slice of pizza left in the box and we're sitting there talking about like golf or whatever, because Mario is a huge golfer, and Donkey Kong is super jealous of that. So if I'm sitting down with Donkey Kong and there's like one slice left, and like I know I've had one more slice than DK already, like I've already pigged out, and he's been talking about his handicap, and I reach for that pizza, and it says up in the top screen area, Donkey Kong will remember that. I want that to come back later in the game, and I've achieved world peace, and then all of a sudden Donkey Kong shows up, knock knock motherfucker, you took my last slice. I remembered that. And then you just get like the worst possible ending, because everyone who does that is an asshole.
You really went off on one there.
My roommate, okay, aside maybe, I did order pizza today. My roommate may have done that to me about 25 minutes ago. I can't say for sure if that happened. I can't say that's the reason behind my tangent that I just went on. I can say that whoever does that is basically worthy of the deepest levels of hell. That's basically where I'm going to leave that sentence.
All right. You want to give me you want to throw one at me?
Yeah, so okay. I've got Twitter pulled up, and because we're a fledgling company and we don't have like a sweet ass we don't have a cool a hashtag or anything to get these from yet, and to call out for them. I just did a Twitter search for video game idea. which I say that. Here we go. Okay, you ready for this? You play it. Okay, first of all, I have to establish the ground rules.
Mm-hmm.
Are you? I mean, as we're both Canadians in Vancouver right now,
of course.
Are you aware of the Gideons from America?
I am not.
Okay, so the Gideons, I don't know what they are. I think they're kind of like the Tooth Fairy, but with Bibles and hotels. So when you go to a hotel in America, there is a Bible in the drawer.
Right.
It is not put there by the hotel. It is not put there by the government. But there is always a Bible in the hotel.
So are the Gideons a real group that put the Bibles there, or?
Yes, no, they are canon IRL a thing.
Okay.
So the Gideon, I think they might be like Tooth Fairies or just I don't know what they are. I've never seen one in real life, but they exist because every hotel room has a Bible in it. Okay, I've established what the Gideons are in America, which I only know from reading because I'm not American. No. So,
thank God, right?
You play as a man trying to eat every Gideon's Bible in America, and this is a suggestion by at YHorm the Giant on Twitter. You play as a man trying to eat every Gideon's Bible in America.
Trying to eat.
To this end, you check into hotel rooms and are given a limited amount of days to enter every room and stake the Bible inside it and eat it. You can go stealthy or chaos mode.
Okay. So, my first thought with this was Pokemon Go, and you're actually going around the world, actually getting every...
Yes, so altered reality games. We're going to have it so when you go to a hotel, let's say you're in high school and you have to go to like a meeting, a convention for the chess club because that's the popular thing to do in high school because everyone plays chess.
Of course.
So you're going to your chess meeting and you have to stay at this hotel and you're thinking, oh man, the hotel is the lame part. I just wish I could get down with them knights and rooks and the other pieces. So
that's when you open
at your hotel.
That's when you open up Gideon Go.
Yes, open up Gideon Go. So we've already established the name, which there you go, Gideon Go.
Gideon Go.
It is original. So you pop open Gideon Go,
and then you break and enter into somebody's hotel room. That's gonna be the
right.
part.
So it's basically like we're gonna alter reality so much more than Pokemon Go. Everyone was so upset that the gyms were just like things you walk to. No, none of that. We're going to have it. The enemies are the police.
Okay, so you get points for escaping the police and not having your phone confiscated. I'm thinking there's a button in the game that you have to press to validate the fact that you still have possession of your phone. It has not been confiscated by a police officer.
Yes, and this is smart from a development perspective because we no longer have to make police artificial intelligence for the video game. The police is just the actual police.
Okay. So you're still trying to eat every Bible. Have I got that right? You're
Yes. You have to eat every Gideon's Bible in America. All of them.
Okay.
Like Pokemon.
So if everyone if everyone who's playing this game are on separate adventures to eat Gideon Bible, is it like the Curiosity? Is that what it's called? The game where it's like a whole group effort to get every Gideon's Bible, or is it more competitive? And are there still Gideons going around?
Yes, so
replacing
there's
the
the big kicker. You'll never run out because I have never seen a Gideon in my life. They, as far as I know, are imaginary, but also like the Tooth Fairy do exchange empty space for Bibles, like the Tooth Fairy does with teeth and currency. So there will always be new Bibles. We don't have to worry about setting refresh rates on Gideon stops.
But what did they do?
Bibles will just come back.
What did they do with the empty space, though? That's what I want to know.
They feed on empty space.
They feed on empty space?
That's their sustenance. That's how they survive.
That's terrifying.
They know that hotels are a great space for finding place where there aren't people because not every hotel is booked up. So they basically shit Bibles. They eat the empty space inside of the nightstand drawers, and they shit a Bible in there. They haven't discovered plumbing, so they just go straight into that nightstand and they drop a big old deuce of a of the holy word of Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm. I don't think this game is going to work out for us if we don't get some sort of lawsuit for telling people to break and enter into hotel rooms. We are for telling people to eat Bibles. So maybe something else.
Right.
How about this from 3T9, either I or 1? I think I or L. I don't know. Surgery simulator where you have to operate on kaiju. So
okay,
there are giant monsters.
Basically, yeah. So you're basically like the kaiju nerd.
Mm-hmm.
So take it away.
All right. So let's say you've got Godzilla, and he's. I just remembered that there's an open heart surgery scene in King Kong Lives at the very beginning where they bring Kong back to life. And I'm entirely serious. It's the sequel to the 70s remake of King Kong, which at the end he falls off the World Trade Center and dies. And then in the beginning of the next one, they bring him back to life for no good reason that I can remember. But I love that movie anyway. But so maybe that can be sort of the basis. So you're a normal-sized human, and we can't use normal surgery simulator type physics because it's just too big a scale, but maybe something more along the lines of Gmod, where you've got at your disposal like helicopters and bulldozers and construction supplies and tanks and whatever, and you're using all of this to try and just get Godzilla his good new heart, his new robot heart, and put it in him so that he can go and fight Ghidorah.
Okay. I don't know most of the words you just said. I have a real question from the people who have nothing as far as knowledge about kaiju movies.
Mm-hmm.
Does this game have Harambe the gorilla from the Cincinnati Zoo DLC?
Is he a kaiju? Is he? I wasn't entirely hooked into the Harambe controversy.
I'm not.
Was he giant? Was he 500 feet tall?
I mean, he had a giant heart. So
that's the hardest to replace.
Right. Okay. So
maybe that's
in-app
purchase. Hard mode. Oh no! Wait. If Harambe is hard mode, then you were using all of your giant surgery construction bulldozers to try and perform surgery on a normal sized ape.
Okay, there we go. We've got it. we've got the hard mode. Mm-hmm. So we pay our respects to the Cincinnati Zoo sensation Harambe the gorilla,
mm-hmm.
and also do a good surgery on some kaiju. What are some other kaiju that have a unique challenge to bring to us to do some surgery on them?
Well, you've got...
Isn't there like a moth one?
Yeah,
Mothra?
There is Mothra. Mothra has... And there's two forms for Mothra. There's the larva form and the moth form. The larva form, it just looks like a big old turd, so that would be a confusing operation to perform. The one I'm thinking would be weirdest is Gigan, who... Nobody knows what Gigan is. He's the best description is like a robot chicken. He's a chicken with a buzzsaw in his chest and hooks for hands and feet, and it's unclear which mommy and daddy kaiju had this monstrosity.
Okay, so Gigan's
already got the surgery supplies on his body. Like, you would be using the buzzsaw in his chest.
Okay, so here's unique challenge. Final boss Gigan.
Mm-hmm.
You have to use the dissected organic material from the other kaiju in the previous levels to operate on the mechanical parts of Gigan. So you're sitting there, his central processing unit, it has a whatever is wrong with that thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got Mothra's spleen over here, and you've got to just stop that with Mothra's spleen.
Mm-hmm. And
you basically switched everything you know about life has reversed on you.
Mm-hmm. And I think all the way through the game you're using like teeth. Teeth are the supply. They're like they're probably used as currency as well, but the teeth would be used for the initial incisions, and I think they break quite often. So you've got like a Breath of the Wild brittle weapon system, but with kaiju teeth.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like a solid game. Definitely into consideration.
Yeah, let's put a pin in that.
Before we jump straight into giving that our flagship title, I want to bring up from Life's a Pitch, Matt Turner at Life's a Pitch Show on Twitter. He gave a suggestion, which was Sneaky Goofs, a stealth strategy roguelike based around sneaking into stand-up comedy shows to steal their jokes, kind of like Amy Schumer. The strategy bit is about trying to change jokes just enough to get away with it once you get found out. The internet blows up, and you have to start another character if you lose, basically.
All right, so
they just get really upset that you stole a joke.
So there are plenty of different sections to this game. The one I'm interested in is the part where it's actually a stealth game, and you're in the performance, and you're trying to slip out that notepad without anybody noticing.
Are you old enough to be familiar with the show Mind of Mencia?
I am not.
Okay, so it was this Comedy Central show in, like, I don't know, maybe 2004 or 3, I don't remember. And the guy, Carlos Mencia, was basically like one of the
I know
one of
about
the
him.
like most targeted for doing this before the internet was like a big thing. So I'm thinking, like, people don't remember him. He kind of went quiet and just, I guess, just went out of the public eye. But Joe Rogan gave him a lot of shit for stealing people's jokes back in like 10 years ago or something, 15 years ago, something like that. So he's kind of like your Luke Skywalker to you are the Rey. And he's your Luke Skywalker.
He's your
Yoda
mentor?
to your Luke.
He's the old guy in the sewer in Splatoon. He's that guy.
Right. He's your Master Splinter from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Of course.
He's basically like, oh, I'm gonna teach you the
lost
secrets
art,
of stealing
of stealing jokes.
Yes, the art of stealing jokes. So he's basically like your mentor, Carlos Mencia, I think his name is. I don't think his real name is Carlos though.
No.
Also,
just always lying.
When you can be interested in the sneaking part, you're obviously the gameplay oriented person. I have this idea about the basically like the other part. So the internet blows up and you have to start another character at the end. I'm thinking what's the word for extended reality games or something? Basically,
augmented reality.
Augmented. Okay, so I was probably using that word wrong earlier.
You were saying altered.
But
altered reality games sound much more interesting than augmented reality games.
I don't know what it's called. It's a thing like that, and then sometimes you have to go to like real life websites and look at words, and like that's part of the game.
Right.
So it's kind of like time capsules, but in game form and real life. I don't know the word. Someone will probably know the word. I don't.
Well, I know.
So
like, don't the Metal Gear Solid games do stuff like that, where like the codec is on the back of the box, or?
Okay, so yeah, it's kind of like that, but like a scavenger hunt form of that. So, but yeah, you've got the right idea. So basically, you start up your game, and basically the game is just you talking to Carlos Mencia. And
you're at a bar and you found him and he's drinking his sorrows away, and
right, like you're on your Nintendo Switch, you pop you hit the sleep button or the wake it up button. You hit the same button 3 times in a row, unlock it, go straight into that Sneaky Goofs game app. Carlos is there waiting for you. And what jokes have you defeated me? Basically, it's just a way for Carlos Mencia to steal jokes from your soul. You're just giving parts of your soul to Carlos Mencia.
Okay, so this is an actual, like, we're gonna actually get Carlos Mencia on board to meet every single player of the game in a real bar.
I'm pretty sure he has not worked at a real place that pays money since 2004, so he will be totally okay with this.
Okay, but my issue is that people will not be able to play the game at the same time, or at least start the game at the same time. Although they will be able to play it, and that'll be interesting for Carlos to be trying to juggle several different relationships as if they are the only people he is doing this with.
I'm thinking we cut down on development time and basically just make the game Skype.
Okay.
And it's just a Skype call.
So
to Carlos
this
Mencia.
is an IRL game, not a video type game.
Yeah, I mean, I am a video games programmer, but I also don't like doing it, and also hate video games. So if instead we could just like make it a fake game, a not real game,
See,
and
this is the
instead
problem.
you just Skype call to Carlos Mencia about the jokes that you've stolen, and then he just takes them and also part of your soul, and we call it a game, that would be good.
Yeah.
I think
I don't
that's
know,
the blockbuster.
I don't know if we're going to get away with the first episode of our podcast about making video games if the video game is that it's not a video game. If it's Skype.
Yeah.
Here, how about this one? How about this? Guess I'll Just Die says that's a sad name. Says Super Smash My Brother and Me. So this might get a bit meta.
Okay, so does this include the McElroy brothers in Super Smash Brothers, or is it Griffin versus Justin versus Travis?
Yes, I think it's a standalone game that
Standalone
has
game.
characters from the Mabim Bam universe. I think it's not
Right, so
exclusively those three. I think maybe Clint's getting in on it. Jeffrey from the very early. I've been listening to my brother and me from the very beginning, and I'm maybe 30 episodes in, and so
Okay, so you're like 600,000 episodes behind. I get it.
yeah. So all of my reference to Mabim Bam are 7 years late.
Yeah, so I will not remember basically anything you say to me.
Okay.
So I'm going to ignore it and say, all right, so the characters, the OG, Justin, Travis, Griffin, McElroy, they're in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Then, like, we got a little Dr. Mario kind of stuff where it's kind of like a copy character where it's kind of the same character, but they got a different skin and a few different attributes. That's gonna be like their television show personas. Basically, only their television show outfits and a few different things. Justin, obviously, the ultimate will be like the scary jump scare form.
Right,
of Justin,
his
etc.
vampire. Okay.
We've also got their Adventure Zone characters, their Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh
podcast
yeah,
characters
I hadn't even thought
to
of
include.
adding that into it, but yeah, that's a good idea.
So we've got Taco, Merle, and Magnus, which, to be completely honest with you, I basically forget what all their jobs are, all their roles. We've got those characters. We've also got okay, so I'm thinking Mortal Kombat style. There's like a boss character, like the announcer is Shao Kahn, or I think that's his name in Mortal Kombat, but it's Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yes, that is a good idea. So for stages we could have like up an actual performance of Hamilton going on. You could have Shrimp Heaven as one of the stages. I think like a virtual reality type situation where you're inside Yahoo Answers.
Yes, so
I think these could all work.
So this is a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
I do not know if this should be our first game,
No.
because we are relying so heavily on someone else's intellectual property that I will at least fuck it up a lot.
I don't know what you mean. I don't think we are using any. I think these are all our original ideas. Do you have
these are public domain characters. Public original character Justin, Travis, and Griffin McElroy do not steal. I made them. I have a notebook from my 9th grade PE class because I didn't actually participate. I just sat in the corner and stared angrily at the jocks and wrote in my notebook about these characters.
I think if you do make characters named Justin, Travis, and Griffin and make them brothers, and you manage to write that down in your notebook before they started their podcast, then I think you own them. I'm pretty sure that's legally how it all works out.
Yeah, I didn't know about them before I wrote them down, so I own them.
Yeah. This one, the actual idea is just okay, but then the text in the description totally sold me on it. This is from Bees in a Trench Coat. Thank you, Bees in a Trench Coat. Alec Guinness World Records. But the description says, Sir Alec Guinness has some shit to get down. All caps shit. So, so Alec Guinness, I guess this is set in the 80s when Alec Guinness is still alive. Alec Guinness, he has some shit to get down. He has to get these world records, and I think there's some sort of stakes that if he doesn't get the world records, something happens. I think maybe you know how Alec Guinness absolutely hated Star Wars and how he would tell children to stop watching Star Wars. I think he had this deal with some sort of demon or supernatural being where he would be allowed to be removed in his entirety from Star Wars, or perhaps just delete Star Wars from history altogether. And the terms of this were that he has to get 99 world records. And so now he's out in this, I think, GTA style world simulator where he has to accomplish world records. It's a very, very side quest based game. Every world record is a side quest, basically, I think.
So what we've got is the Guinness Book of World Records. And it's basically like Death Note for world records. It's a book that Alec Guinness has, and if he writes a world record in it, then he has to achieve that world record or die. And that's his magical book that will allow him to delete Star Wars from the universe.
Okay. I think that's a pretty good idea. So the interesting thing about that is that when you're playing most GTA games, you're playing as a relatively young fellow who's able to move around pretty quickly and do dexterous acts of athleticism. Alec Guinness, not so much.
No, Alec Guinness is a corpse. Although, if we're setting it in the 80s, then he wouldn't be a corpse yet. But a corpse definitely could not do athletic
If we're setting it in the 80s, then we can, I think, just import the map from GTA Vice City and build up on that.
Okay, so we've got a Grand Theft Auto game. I want to cross it over with that Death Note anime show.
Oh, I didn't know there was an anime show. I thought it was just that Netflix movie with Willem Dafoe. I was pretty sure that was like the only Death Note thing. That was my impression.
I know that you're lying to me because I'm the one who doesn't watch any or like at all anime.
Yeah.
And you're the one who told me to watch anime shows and I didn't like them. So I know you're lying to me because I've seen that anime show and I did not like it.
Okay.
But I know it exists. So in the good version of this, where Alec Guinness is the star and not some Japanese cartoon, we've got it's the Alec Guinness Book of World Records, but of Death Note.
I think actually most anime would be improved if the protagonist was Alec Guinness.
Exactly.
Like just watching Dragon Ball Z and it's, oh, really? You're going to do that again, Vegeta? Okay. That's my stellar Alec Guinness right there.
I loved it. Okay, so we've basically got the perfect game idea, which is that if Alec Guinness writes in his Book of World Records, the Guinness Book of World Records, as it's known in the game universe, he thinks it's a diary, but he doesn't really know because he's so good at just doing the world records that he does not really know that he'll die if he doesn't achieve them. So he just sits down one day. I want to see if I can swallow the most marbles out of anyone in the whole world.
So was he very drunk when he signed the deal with Mr. Demon with Willem Dafoe? When he did the deal with Willem Dafoe, he was too drunk to remember it when he woke up, but he did feel like he wanted to get some world records under his belt.
Right, because what else would you do if you're Alec Guinness?
When you're on death's door and you've got just in your last moments.
Live like you're dying, right? Yeah. So you've got Alec Guinness just achieving all the world records, and what we've got here is an idea. Now we don't have gameplay. What genre of game is this going to be? What are the world records, and how do we play and achieve them? Well,
before we get to that, I think I want to decide how your missions are chosen. So there are two directions you can go in this. You could have, it's not actually an interactive book. You get to the notebook like screen and you can select from a bunch of different ideas, which is what it is. That's probably how most video games would do it. But you could also go in a more Scribblenauts-esque direction and have a game where you can actually write whatever world record you want to try into it.
Okay, so have you ever seen those silly jokes that people do where they type a word in their phone and then just keep hitting auto, like the next word in their auto suggestion word, and it makes funny funny sentences like
I've done
they'll type like the, and the next word will be like underwear. The underwear for my dog today is from tomorrow's yesterday forgotten. That's basically how we decide world records. We have we license auto suggestion software from the phone developers, and we basically just like short-term memory. We write down a single word in the Scribblenauts engine, and then it just auto completes. Just keeps just getting a new word from the next one, and that's our new world record.
I am currently going through my settings, trying to turn on predictive text so that I can try this in real life, see if I can whip up our own mission for Alec Guinness to try and accomplish. Predictive on. Okay. So just to get it started, I think I'll add in be the first man, and then we'll see where we can go from there.
Okay.
So, or be the first. Let's go. Be the first one of our classes to be the best thing ever to happen in a few years. And this isn't gonna work because they never do any proper nouns or things. It's just gonna be.
I think this is going to lead to basically the character. Basically, the character is going to learn something about themselves that they don't type any nouns in their phone. So it's going to make them realize they're spending too much time on the details and never any time on the big things.
Okay.
And it's really just a commentary on our human obsession with small things in our fleeting lives.
That's pretty deep. I think I have a message that will work now. Be the first one of our classes to be the best thing ever to happen in a few years, and then you have a good time play. Now, are you familiar with Cineplex's time play?
No. Tell me, what is that?
So, I don't know if Cineplex is even a thing in America. But
which I'm not American, obviously.
Of course. So here,
that's not an issue.
Here in Canada, most of the big theater chains are owned by Cineplex, and they have this thing called Time Play, which is like an app you download, and it's terrible quizzes that are played on the movie screen in the pre-show before you watch your movie, and it'll be like which is the best movie star, vote closest to the majority to win, and then you'll tap on your phone which you think, and then it goes up on the screen, and if you do good, if you do the majority good, then you get like a quarter of a cent towards buying popcorn.
Okay.
So I don't know if Alec Guinness would have been able to play Time Play in the 80s. Maybe it's a very early version of Time Play. He's playing a prototype Time Play that's running on 80s video game technology, and then we can get in some of that indie retro crowd to support our game, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he's playing. He has to be the best in his class to play Time Play. So he's in a movie theater playing an NES game up on the screen, surrounded by his school reunion from his class. So they're all as old as Alec Guinness, and all as grumpy as Alec Guinness when reacting to 80s video games.
Okay, I like it.
I don't know what the actual gameplay is. I think then we just get into a bog standard platformer, 16-bit art style pixel art game. So maybe we sell it as you're in this open world and you can do anything as Alec Guinness, and then it just turns out to be a pixel art platformer.
Okay, so I like this, but I feel like the pixel art platformer thing is a little bit like out of season.
Yeah.
because we've got Shovel Knight, and we're indies.
Mm-hmm.
We had a successful push beginner,
Mm-hmm.
and that's cool. But like we can't jump straight into like jumping with the yacht club because they're gonna kick our ass.
Right.
So that's cool. We're gonna shelve that though. I think. Maybe.
Okay. Do you have any...
I found this tweet.
Okay. Good.
It's by at NLTM_ on Twitter. Name Illegal Witch Boy says, my best idea for a video game is still open world mini golf.
I think they did this. I think they did this on CoolGames Inc.
Okay. Is this real life? Because...
Yes, this is real life. I'm pretty sure they did this in CoolGames Inc.
Damn, why do they do... It's almost like this podcast that we're doing is a knockoff, which it isn't.
It's almost like
it's
that.
not... I mean, yes, but without having a full knowledge of it, I don't know what I'm knocking off. Didn't we earlier just talk about how if I don't know about it when I think of it, then I own it? That basically makes me the owner of whatever they did in that episode.
Yeah. So the problem there is I've heard of it, so I think you can make this golfing game on your own, but as soon as I enter into the equation, then we're in for some legal trouble.
You're a dog on a... And this is from Fan of Sport for You on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
You're a dog on a walk. You tried to run your tweeting owner into low branches, dog poop, gnat swarms, and other walk hazards. So you're the dog, and it's kind of like an auto running game.
Yeah.
And basically you've got your owner just like tweeting or whatever, not paying attention. Obviously a millennial. And you're just like, man, fuck this guy. He's not paying any attention to me. I'm just doing my own dog thing, and I'm not getting any pets. I'm not getting the good boys that I deserve. So I'm gonna run this asshole into some low branches.
Mm-hmm.
Take a big old dookie right on the sidewalk. Oh, hey, look, a squirrel. Come with me, owner. Make him step right in my fresh duke. I like this already.
Yeah.
I'm already popping open the game engine, typing in some sweet code logic in on this.
Mm-hmm. So
what is this game called though?
What is the title?
Because we've got the idea. It's a fully formed idea. It's perfect. It's basically the game we've all been waiting for.
Yeah.
We don't have a name for it.
So we could work in tweeting and okay, I think have you listened into CoolGames Inc. enough? Let's step out of the universe for a second here. Have you listened to it enough to get to a bit where they each say a keyword at the same time?
Yes.
Okay, I think we should do that where you take an internet keyword and I'll take a dog keyword.
Okay, so I'm doing an internet thing,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Like brand
Mm-hmm.
or website,
Mm-hmm.
and you're doing a dog thing.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Give me a sec.
Okay, I've got one.
All right, I think I got it.
Okay, so 3, 2, 1, on the leash.
Microblogging.
Microblogging on the...
That's nothing. We should do that again and not do a shitty job at it this time.
Yeah, okay.
Hold on. Okay, hold on. You asked me to do internet things. I don't even use the internet. I basically only know things like MSN.com.
Okay, what have you got for hip MSN slang words and...
All right, countdown. Go. Do it now.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Good
Emojis.
Boy. Good boy emojis.
I was so excited about what I said. I didn't even hear you say anything.
I said good boy.
Good boy. Okay,
Good boy emojis.
Good boy emojis. Okay, so we've got it. This is perfect. I'm thinking emoji-based title, like good boy dog emoji.
Right. So
it's like regular good boy, like oh it's a good boy, but like
maybe it's like a check mark for good and a emoji of a boy and then
dog emoji.
Dog emoji. But then it's
Poop
not good boy emoji, it's
poop
good boy dog.
Okay, so good boy. So like check, like thumbs up. No. The okay symbol, but like your hand, like the circle, the okay.
Yeah.
That good boy, and then poop emoji, dog emoji, and then we can't use the bird because the official Twitter brand guideline says that the Twitter logo is not a bird; it's a symbol of Twitter. So we can't use a bird emoji to represent Twitter. That's just incorrect as far as branding standards go.
Mm-hmm. I am currently wondering whether we can actually name like a YouTube video or a SoundCloud file or anything emojis as the title, which
Absolutely.
could be...
Absolutely.
Can
I
you,
am a developer of the internet products.
Mm-hmm.
You can do anything. They may not work, but you can do anything with emojis. Emojis are basically the language of the future. You know, I don't know if you know about this. Back in like the 70s and 80s or whatever, they were like trying to push this Esperanto thing, which is like French plus Spanish plus English or something. And they're like, oh, we should all speak Esperanto instead, so like we can all understand each. That didn't go anywhere. Emoji is the real Esperanto. One day in the near future, you're going to be walking down the street and you're just going to be like, hey, okay hand emoji. And that person's going to be like, 100 with 3 underlines emoji.
I think you're walking down the street and you are not like maybe you have Street Pass work, like you've got Street Pass on your phone because that was, you know, the most of its time and a very, very revolutionary software, Street Pass. So Street Pass is now implemented in your phone so that you can talk to people when your devices are in the vicinity of one another. So at last, there is a way to communicate with people that you meet on the street that it has been given to you by Nintendo Apple Skynet.
Okay. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. So we've got that basically fleshed out.
Mm-hmm.
Now we are like 100 years into this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We need to have like a product. We need to decide what is the best one. What is the product that we're going to start and we're going to make, and we're going to do a deep dive on what is the fruit of our labor that comes from our generous donors on PunchBeginner.
Mm-hmm. I have one more idea that I haven't read yet, and I think it could be the Nug, as some podcast that I've never heard of. Apparently they say Nug. This could be whatever that is. A fighting game. This from The Document. That I don't mean it's from a document. It's from somebody named The Document. A fighting game where you start out as 2 kids filming yourself fight in your garage, and you use the YouTube money to buy upgrades to make better fight videos.
So you start off as like you and your cousin in your garage with like your dad's like camcorder from 2001.
Yeah, he's got one of those things
films
like
it films to mini DVDs, and you've got to like get DVD ripping software just to put it on your computer, and like you just upload that on YouTube, and that's like the tutorial, and then you just go from there.
Yeah, I'm getting vibes of like Flash games like Learn to Fly and Interactive Buddy, where the more like you're slowly building up in-game currency to buy different upgrades, but with the added level of it being like a Street Fighter type fighting game. Like it in the canon of the game, you were not actually fighting. You were play fighting for the internet to get that sweet ad revenue money. But in the context of gameplay, you are actually fighting.
Oh, so you're just punching your cousin?
Yes.
Like, like the real gameplay, like the game is accessed through like the useful and great 3D camera on your Nintendo new 3DS Plus IXL.
Oh, it's like
from Nintendo.
There was a DSi game that I had that was the best thing ever, where you took pictures of it had cutouts for poses, and you would take pictures of yourself in those poses, and then they would import them and turn them into characters in a fighting game.
Okay, so
that was a great game.
So we basically we're targeting like any console with a camera.
Mm-hmm.
So like Nintendo DS or the newest whatever Nintendo DS with the camera, and that's it. I think with cameras, the Wii U obviously, the cutting edge system we need to target is the Wii U. But
we really need to
most
get
people
that.
are gonna play on their DS because the Wii U is kind of a pain to get out to the garage. But that's where the pros play. Like you go to the esports tournament and that the pros are playing on Wii U, and then like most people are just playing on their DSs.
I think we can really get that hungry Wii U audience that haven't had a game on their Wii U in a year, and they need something to play on that big bulky tablet. One idea I had for this just a second ago is that the idea of you're play fighting, but you're also playing a fighting game. I think there are like Street Fighter bars that you can see going down, but if you pay close attention, you can tell that those are fake punches. You can see their mouths forming the noise, and you can see the fist going beside the face of your cousin. So it is clear that you're not actually
do we reward
fighting.
that, or do we, or is that like, or do we have like
I think that's.
Do we employ some like internet assholes who are like, no, actually, if you go to this frame and you play it in slow mo, like, do we employ those assholes to like deduct points from your video if you're not actually beating the shit out of your family members?
That's a good that you don't get as much revenue if you're not faking it as well, and I think that part of the money goes towards different effects software. Like one of the ideas I had was that like maybe one of the higher tiers is that you can afford a like saber effects type lightsaber software so that you can then add lightsabers into your fighting game.
Okay.
And I think it's gonna be stuff like that, like an achievement in Interactive Buddy. You were like buying grenades and flamethrowers and fists and guns and stuff. I think it could be like that, except that they are clearly Nerf guns and pillows.
Okay.
And stuff like that. Actually, I love the idea of if they're fighting in the garage, there are pillows on the ground every time they fall down.
Okay. So, I like this idea. I think this is the idea we've been looking for.
Okay.
Like the idea that takes our video game company from zero to hero, as the soul singers from the beginning of Hercules would say.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be so easy to pitch. We just say, it's that one Flash game, Learn to Fly, you know that one, and it's also mixed with Street Fighter, and it's also mixed with that one DS game where you took pictures and you put the pictures in the game, and then you were in a fighting game.
We should do a publicity stunt.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, like have a championship, like whoever is making the most ad revenue or whatever, you're like the champ or something, and then like all of a sudden we spring on you, like say like Billy Thompson from Connecticut is number one at beating the shit out of his cousin on our video game on YouTube, and like, hey Billy, you're doing great, you're number one. By the way, Conor McGregor versus Billy Thompson this Friday in the squared circle, and like basically we just do our video game, but this time it's real life on HBO in a boxing ring with like this 13-year-old kid and versus also Conor McGregor, the MMA mean fighter person.
Okay.
So that's what I'm thinking for marketing.
I hadn't even thought of it being online, but that is a great idea. That like you can set up fights with real people, maybe.
Well, we went through this with like No Man's Sky, where it's like if it's kind of like an online thing, but not really.
Ooh, well,
like we're doing YouTube and ad revenue and beating the shit out of your cousin and whatever. Like that's kind of fake online, even though it's on our console systems. But it's like people are gonna get mad if it's like fake online, but we don't have any online to add to our fake online. So the real online is you got to do good, but if you do too good, Conor McGregor is gonna punch you in the face.
So I think if they ask us, is this game online, we can say maybe.
Yeah. Plausible deniability is a development strategy that basically is the most useful development strategy you can undertake, I believe, in video games. You come out with a trailer, like, look at this cool trailer. It's like, oh, you made Jump Man. Will there be jumping? Well, there will definitely be a video game. Will there be a man in it? There will be a video game. And you just basically like, oh, but you called it Jump Man. There's supposed to be a man who jumps. Ah, but we didn't say that.
Yeah,
we just
was
called
metaphor.
it Jump Man. Right. So
I think there is one genuinely online working copy of our game, and I think it is in the possession of Conor McGregor.
Right. So obviously he's going to be a super big fan of this game. Conor McGregor is going to see this game like, oh, I love beating the shit out of people, and he's just going to do it. Like already, even before it's developed, he's playing the game. Like he's just beating the crap out of people and putting those videos online of just him just seeing people randomly, and it's like, hey, they would be good for my video YouTube series of me beating them up. So I think that it won't even cost us any money to get Conor McGregor involved in this project, because we can basically just like, oh, sign in with your Twitter to, you know, do the online or whatever. And like, that's not real online, but we just take their Twitter account, and then whenever like the number one person, it's time for them to have the big showdown and they don't even know about it, we just take their Twitter login that we stole and tweet at Conor McGregor, hey, I could kick your ass. Just that. Oh, and then we wouldn't have to pay him. He'd just do it. He'd just, okay, fine, I'll fight this dude. Because he just likes beating people up.
Okay, what are we calling this game? We need to finish this. What is the title?
So I want to do something like catchy. I'm thinking punch your friends, because that's kind of like a common mantra. Like there's the game use your words.
Hold on. I think that I have the title. So
okay.
Because you start out from square one, where you're at the very bottom level and you have to work your way up in terms of punching. I think we can call this PunchBeginner.
PunchBeginner. Okay. Yeah. So basically, we got our start from PunchBeginner, and we said we're going to get our start on PunchBeginner. Everyone thought, oh, they're going to use this platform called PunchBeginner to get their start, but that's not what we meant. Plausible deniability. No, we meant we're making a game called PunchBeginner. That's what we meant.
That's what we
the
meant
whole
all
time,
along.
Actually. And because PunchBeginner gave us the money, they were obviously okay with it. So we get all the rights. And
I think we have to track down.
Got,
we have to track down any video files where we said the PunchBeginner was a crowdsourcing platform, and we have to destroy those files.
Right. Well, I mean, it was until they gave us money, and then we owned it. So they no longer exist in the eyes of God and man. So
in the eyes of the Gideons,
we've got PunchBeginner for the Nintendo 3DS and for the pro scene coming to the ever popular Wii U console.
And maybe we can have like a Switch port that has a Game Boy camera style. It's a cartridge that sticks out of the Switch and has a camera on it.
Have
It is Game Boy camera level.
Pre-order bonus. You have to pre-order the video game. You have to pre-order the Switch. So you can buy the Switch one without pre-ordering it, but you don't get the camera. So you basically just get software that you can't use. If you pre-order it, then you get the camera also when you get the game.
And I think we should be giving that to our top tier supporters on PunchBeginner. That does not exist. Actually, no. We should cease all communication with any of our supporters, because they don't exist anymore.
We've already got their money. They're basically useless to us at this point.
Yeah. That's going to wrap it up for this episode of CoolGames Inc. Vancouver. I'm Euan.
I'm Spanky.
I don't know if we've earned the right to say no problem fun, so let's say...
I don't think so.
So...
How about
Good, yes.
How about do a good game? How about do a good game?
Okay, it's CoolGames Inc. Vancouver. GG, do a good game.
GG, do a good game. Let's go.
All right,
yeah,
we did it. We did a podcast.
Okay, it might suck, but we don't know, and it might be okay.